body. In a way, it's your game, it's your play, and what resonates to you in this moment, in every moment. You hear the teaching, and some of it may resonate to you, some not, whatever, whichever way it is, and it may all be forgotten, but maybe not completely, we don't know. We know that, as we whatever we try in the world, that's not where things really happen. Somehow there is something that's operating, that's beyond our mind. Actually, even our own mind we don't choose our thoughts, it's all sort of shining through us. But we have the capacity to recognize dead-end alleys, or alleys that are going narrower and narrower. The path is going narrower and narrower, and the path is going broader and broader. And it's the path of love. Love is not personal. Love is meaning it's not, I love my clients. No, the path of love is the path of recognition of non-separation. Because when the two are one, or when the many are one, that's called love. But when I love you, and I love you more because of this and that, and I love her less because of this and that, that's mine. That's not really love. I'm talking about the path of love being the path of truth. Because truth is love. What would be love that is not true? What are we talking about? It has to be true. It has to be absolute. So we're talking about absolute reality, which we can call love, beauty, freedom, joy. So it's about that, but it's not the human experience. Meaning it can shine into the human experience as how we interact and how we live. But it doesn't come from the human experience. It doesn't come from the mind. It's not like, oh yeah, I love this and I don't love that, or I'm choosing to love. It's a recognition. You have no choice about love. You have no choice about freedom. You can't make yourself free. You can recognize it or not. You recognize the freedom that you are, or you don't. You recognize the freedom that all is, that everything is, or not. And people have the freedom to suffer. They choose to suffer. They think that their mom or their grandma or their grandpa or their boss is making them suffer, but it's their choice to choose that. And maybe in therapy you've seen it, and bring somebody to clarity that no, it's not your boss that's making you suffer, and they get cured. They feel better. But then it's their grandmother that's making them suffer, because they somehow that's their spin, you say. And as a therapist, you do your best with every client at the moment, and it's not about non-duality. It's about helping people to cope with their life more or less. Have less turbulent life, but there is no end to the turbulence in life as long as we are a personal self, as long as we are a man or a woman. You think there is an end of turbulence? As long as we are a man and a woman, we are identified with our mind. We feel that something is happening to me. So now we feel that if something good is happening to me, I'm very happy. What about in March 16, 2019, when your car crashes into a tree or something? You think something good is happening to you? You don't know. Only when you realize the absolute, then your car can go down in the river with you in it, with this body-mind in it. All is well. Of course, the body is not going to be all is well. We're going to bury the body because it's going to be drowned. but all is well for you, because you are not the body. It's a very difficult thing to grok when we've been so identified with the body for so long. We feel that, yeah, I am here, the body sitting on this chair, but you're not the body sitting on this chair. That's a thought that's appearing to you. What if the thought, I'm sitting on this chair, is not appearing to you from now until the year, until the cows go home? The cows come home? Yeah? What if that thought never appears to you until the cows come home? It means, what if that thought doesn't arise? What if no thought? What about no thought arises to you from now until the cows come home? Imagine, that's a possibility. Because in deep sleep, there is no thought, right? I'm not.
Just sleep for 24 hours a day.
That's the awakened state. Thank you. That's awakened state. Being awake, being in deep sleep, 24-hour a day. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
So is it, when you are in deep sleep, I'm serious, is the experience the same in terms of your sense of I? There's no memory from the mind.
Yes.
But is it?
What tells you that you are not? What tells you are not in deep sleep right now?
Well, it feels closer to a dream than deep sleep. Deep sleep is like a blank, right? An experience.
What tells you that it's not a blank right now?
Right now, not a blank. Sensation.
What tells you that this sensation is not a blank?
That sensation is not a blank?
Yes.
Memory, I guess. I don't know.
What tells you that memory is not a blank?
Thoughts.
Awareness.
What tells you that thought is not a blank? What does anything that you say? What tells you that's not a blank?
Awareness.
Thoughts tell you everything.
Huh?
Isn't it just thoughts that tell you thoughts?
Nothing tells me anything.
It's just a belief that Tom believes.
Anyways, back to the question. No, back to your question. What was your question again? About deep, in deep sleep.
It's an unbroken experience. Deep sleep, waking state, dream.
All states, waking state, dreaming state, deep sleep state, all states arise onto the stateless. Like all images arise onto the screen. Images arise onto the screen. Right?
Right.
Let's use that metaphor of images on the screen. When you go to the image, there's a horse running, right? Mm-hmm. You go to the image to ride the horse, or to catch the horse, or to feed the horse. You're going to find a horse? You're only going to find a screen. And when the screen has a serene, beautiful lake, and you just want to sit by the lake, you go to the screen, you think you're going to be sitting by the lake, you're only going to find a screen. And when you go to the blank screen, now there is nothing on the screen, blank screen, you don't go anywhere.
Right.
Because there's nothing, nowhere to go.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm familiar with all this. Not enough.
But you are the screen, you see.
So right now it's not different
You
than deep sleep.
Absolutely. But there is a difference. The difference is that you don't know it.
Well,
That's the difference. The difference is that it's an illusory difference. How about that? It's an illusory difference, not a real difference.
the sense of I as consciousness, free of
Issues.
identity
Yes.
elsewhere.
Right.
The pure sense
Yes.
of I as that
Yes.
is no different now than deep sleep.
It is different because you don't know it. You're not
Don't know it.
you're not
sleep.
knowing yourself.
Not knowing it's the
You're,
self during
you're
Now or
right
sleep?
right now,
Right now.
you're not recognizing the transparency that you are. You're not recognizing the screen. I'm assuming that, okay? I'm not, don't. I mean, it's not personal. Let's say, when you're not recognizing the screen, you're recognizing something else. You're recognizing an object, an image. See, there is a recognition of the screen that is missing. But although the recognition of the screen is missing, the screen is there. The screen is. Awareness is. But the recognition of the screen is I'm not saying it's not there, it comes and goes. It's like, it comes and goes, and then the me, I'm all my future, my mother, my sister, my whatever, and then it comes, the screen comes again. So yes, already being awake 24 hours, being in deep sleep 24 hours is what I'm talking about.
But the recognition of the screen that you're talking about, you don't recognize the screen when you sleep.
Well, you don't sleep.
You don't sleep.
You don't sleep.
Yeah.
Consciousness doesn't sleep. So
It doesn't.
in sleep, the body sleeps. When the body sleeps, then the mind is gone, and the world is gone. You don't see anymore. Your kitchen is gone. The lasagna that you made is gone. Your car is not there. Your brother is not there, etc. So in sleep, in the sleep state, the body and the mind are gone, and the world are gone.
So that
So
relationship
it
is
is the
severed.
state.
I'm sorry.
So sleeping is the awakened state.
You're talking about deep sleep?
Deep sleep.
Deep sleep is a metaphor, is a caricature of the awakened state, because in deep sleep you are not fully awake. You haven't come to the full awakening yet. Because we all go into deep sleep, right? We all know deep sleep, but then when we wake up in the morning, we're still the same doo-doos, that we were, a few hours before, right? We still have the same concerns. We still hate our neighbor because their dog poo-pooed on our whatever, all right? So it's a good caricature or metaphor of the awaken of the self.
But if that relationship is severed, then between the sense of simply being aware and being identified
Yes,
with
right.
everything
Being
in
in it.
manifestation,
Yes.
then it's
Unbroken deep sleep, awake deep sleep. Yes, unbroken.
Right.
So it's the same during awake and the awake states as deep sleep.
Irrespective of the states. So irrespective of the states, there is no more. There are no more states. There are no more. There is You never leave yourself. You're never not that, irrespective of the states. But until then, although we are that, we're still identified with the states. In other words, we identify that I'm awake, and now I'm sleeping, and now I'm dreaming, and now I'm eating, and now I'm hurting, and now I'm loving, and now I'm hating, and now I'm being hated. These are the states, mind states, what we refer to as mind states. Mind doesn't dissolve, but the me in the mind dissolves. In other words, there is still a perception, but there isn't any issue. There isn't any issue.
In deep sleep, there's no objects, right?
No objects.
Consciousness is there, but there's no objects.
Right, right.
However, if you are really awake and you recognize all the objects are nothing but yourself, in other words, you identify with the screen, then it's the same.
The key thing about in deep sleep there is consciousness, but consciousness isn't knowing of itself. It again is there is still the self, the personal self hasn't dissolved. So there is still consciousness not knowing itself.
So deep sleep is not, it's like one step removed
From the awakened state. Yes, from the revelation of the self. Yes, it is a good metaphor, it's God-given, because it is given to us to experience. We all know the experience of deep sleep, and we can talk about it because we all know it intimately, and we all know that the peace of deep sleep. We can't wait to sleep. We don't go to bed because we're looking forward to our dreams, or we go to bed because we're looking forward to the sleep, to the actual sleep, which is the deep sleep state, because we all know the happiness of that. So it's a good metaphor. It's a good. It's a gift. It's a gift from God to help us in our contemplation. So we can speak about deep sleep, and we all understand what we're talking about, right? We all understand the bliss of deep sleep, but the freedom from the self, freedom from identification, is like deep sleep, but it's uninterrupted. It is 24/7, like we're saying.
There was something that,
No. I said like she was saying.
there was something that came up toward the end of, I'd say last week, that reminded, was reminiscent of the Nisargadatta saying something like,
Can you speak a little louder?
I'm sorry, the Nisargadatta saying, when I realized my true nature, I left behind my human nature to take care of myself.
Yes.
And he also said things like, I don't spend time growing my nails or growing my hair.
Right.
Once I eat my food, it's out of my
Right.
conscious attention.
Yes.
And it takes care of
Yes.
itself.
Yes.
And so he said basically daily life is that way.
Yes.
That to an outward observer, he's doing all the appropriate things.
Absolutely.
Socially.
Yes.
Responsible.
Right.
Everything seems correct. He seems aware. He's meeting everything
Right.
appropriately. But according to him, his experience is that that's like
Right.
He's not paying attention
Absolutely.
at all.
Yes.
His
It's
attention is
just flowing through you. Yeah.
Right.
It's the personal chooser that's no longer there. But from an outsider, the outsider will project a personal chooser.
Right.
And say, you're personally choosing this or that.
Right.
In fact, there is no personal choice. We believe and we feel there is a personal choice. We believe that, I chose to go to the right. I as a person. I as this man or this woman. But in fact, you didn't, because that thought just came to you. You didn't choose that thought. You see? So the illusion of a personal chooser is absent in the sage. So in fact, there is no choice. Or you could say it's God's choice. It doesn't matter which way you word it. Or God is choosing through me. Rumi's poetry is very beautiful that way. It speaks very beautifully about that.
We've proven that now scientifically.